Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Our surprise guest for the second half of the show, we alluded to MusicFest earlier. We are delighted to welcome to the studio the chair of the board of directors of Peterborough's MusicFest. We're not calling it the Arts and Waters Festival any longer.
Not anymore, or Little Lake Music Fest,
He has
Festival
another,
Lights.
A couple of generations.
and he has another, yeah, well, that's a long time ago, and another title. He is the grand poobah of CogecoTV Peterborough, David Feeley. Welcome to the studio.
This is a big surprise for me too, so it's wonderful. Thank you very much.
We're really glad to have you here. And
Seems like about a year since I've been here.
that's right.
Really? That's right.
Yeah.
That was a fun show.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah,
Okay.
and was it MusicFest last time as well? Yeah,
That's all,
it
that's
happens
all I'm
every
worthy of
year.
bringing on,
Yeah.
apparently.
It's going to keep happening.
Yeah. Well, David, it's great to have you here and in your capacity as MusicFest chair, but also great to have you here as the person that allows us this forum as volunteers to
Allows
share
us.
Allows us.
Wow, that's not usually the line I get from them.
share all the news
You
that's
wanna
fit
kick us
to,
off? Let us know.
report. And no, it is great, and the team here does a great job,
Aren't they fabulous? Yeah.
and we really appreciate it. We're getting down to the wire. It's our second last show.
yeah.
But we want to talk about MusicFest because everybody waits with bated breath for the big announcement. Who's coming this year? Now, you let the cat out of the
Yeah.
bag that patio lanterns would be the theme on July 1st, so everybody knew Kim Mitchell was
Yeah.
coming, and I think that'll go over well. But why don't you give us a little bit of a background on what's happening with MusicFest this year and
Right.
who you've got lined
Well,
up?
obviously, with last year was our 30th anniversary, so that was a big year for us. And then this year with Canada 150 was yet another big year. So, you know, the challenge is always to balance budget and ability to get some good acts, and luckily we've been able to do that. So with 150 this year, the local group really wanted to keep people at home, so they talked to us very early on, which was great, and said, gee, would you maybe consider booking your opener for July 1st, and we can announce it early, and that'll give us a bit of a catalyst to start the promo. So we thought, well, you know what, we've never done that before. Let's do that. So we looked, it had to be Canadian artists, obviously, and we looked at the kind of iconic Canadian artists, and we had 3 or 4 in our bag, and we thought, okay, here, you got to go after them. And these people don't like to book that early.
Right.
They don't want to be locked down too early, so you have to do a lot of negotiating, and luckily Tracy Randall is a good negotiator that way, and we locked down Kim Mitchell and announced it before
How
Christmas.
many times has he played, do you think?
See, I knew you were going to say things like that. Tracy and people can say, oh yeah, he has.
Yeah.
I bet 3 or 4.
I was going to say 3 or 4.
Because, and then there was one time he got rained out, and he said, I will come back next week. I will not charge for it. He charged this first time, but he said, I won't charge again if everybody brings an item for the food bank. And sure enough, he came back for a special concert.
He's a good guy.
He was a great guy, and he did a video for us in his backyard with his phone, and was so excited about coming to Peterborough. And I mean,
Because he's not that far away, right?
no, he's not. So I mean, it's a great iconic show. So that got us going, which was good. Got one show out of the way, but 17 shows this year, and then it's just a matter of really balancing the genres, making sure we've got a little bit of something for everyone. And my push this year has been, you might not like X kind of music, but come down anyway. It's free.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's nothing to lose.
You see people that come down and then the music starts and they pull up the chair and
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't for me.
They
But you know
stay,
what?
or-
It's something I was very guilty, and I told this to Paul Rellinger yesterday. I didn't come to MusicFest for a long time, till Gordon Lightfoot came. And then finally I thought, okay, I'm going to go to that one. And I was hooked. I was like, this is amazing. And the number of people that know about it, they know it goes on twice a week, but they've never gone down to experience it and really appreciate it. And then when they do, oh, that's it. And I'm there pretty much every show. And the faces that you see every
Yeah, there are
week that
definitely
are the
regulars.
same people in the same spot on the
Yeah.
lawn, and they just live for it. So it's amazing.
It's social and it's a
is.
nice spot and it's a summer night and
On a nice, warm summer night.
Yes, yeah. Luckily, there's no show tonight. So yeah, hopefully by July 1st we get the nice warm summer nights, and it is. And I'll tell you, I've been there in some torrential rain and not losing a fan out of the audience, which shows people really do love that.
Yeah, well, it has been a great venue. It's evolved over the
Yeah.
years. It still brings out crowds. And David, I know you've done some research on its impact and where people come from. Is it a local audience, or are we drawing people in?
We are drawing people in. There's a lot of locals, but there's a lot of people. We know that by hotel nights. We deal a lot with the PDA, who are just great with us. They provide us some great information and super accommodations, obviously, for our artists. But we did an economic study, and it was surprising to see that over the season, we're talking 17 nights. We're not.
Right.
This is not a year-long thing. We're $4.2 million of an economic impact. So that's a lot of job equivalents coming to a community over 17 nights. It's not even 17 weeks. It's 17 nights. So it is important to the community, and people relish the fact that it's free. We've said to people, gee, what if we had to charge? If we charged a loony to everybody that came into that place, our entertainment budget would go up probably 50%.
Yeah.
But the 50-50 draw is kind of the only admission, really. People at the Rotary Club,
Yeah, it's all up to-
voluntary,
And that goes
right?
to charity, though. That doesn't come back to you guys.
But
right?
some of the money goes to the...
Rotary is a sponsor,
Yeah.
and they give us a sponsorship fee every year,
Right.
and then they do well with the. But I mean, it is a great draw. Kim Mitchell, biggest ever 50-50 was that night he came back, the biggest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The number of people that are involved that way is just tremendous.
So
And
how are you funded then? Is it sponsors? Have you got who are your major
we've got
sponsors?
So we've got a lot of sponsors, and I encourage people, please go to our website
Oh,
and
yeah,
have a look,
I see-
and look
I
around the
see
park.
that.
Yeah, they're up
But-
on the screen.
Yeah, we've got them everywhere. But Darling Insurance is one of our top sponsors, along with TD Bank, and they pony up a lot of money every year, and they're just music lovers, and they love the shows. Then it trickles from there. We've got sponsors who've been with us for well over 20 years. Some very small sponsors who just keep sticking in. Some that come and go. Every year there's a churn. But people are realizing now that it's more than just an advertising and a promotional opportunity. It's really a community thing. And one group, LLF, lawyers. I mean, well, I think this week we've seen what kind of corporate citizens they are with sponsoring the park across the road from their offices.
Right.
They sponsor every year, and Peter Lawless is on our board, but they do. Their staff loves the event, so they love the tickets. They come down to the shows, and that's a big part of why they do it. Other places like Ricky's All Day Grill, they give the tickets away to their.
They get training for their jukebox contest.
Yeah, that's right. See,
Well,
you've
Jukebox
got an
Jack.
inside track.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the kind of groups, and again, we've got some small sponsors who've been with us forever, and they're just as engaged, if not more so, because it's just as important to their small business as it is to a large business. And then a lot of great government grants, support from all levels of government, the county, the city, province, and the feds, through some direct for the arts, and some for student jobs and things like that through Canada Summer Jobs. So it's very good. And then we do work with Fleming for some of their job creation programs and training. So everyone's involved. It's just super that way.
Well, it's a real. I think Peterborough's got a great reputation for this event. People come, but some of the names that jump out: Tom Cochrane and Red Rider.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a band.
That was one of the last ones we
I
booked,
remember,
and it
yeah.
was okay. Do we or don't we? Do we or don't we? That and the Sheepdogs.
great
We were just
repertoire.
kind of
Sheepdogs, yeah.
It used to be one of those bands where people that sit there and go like, oh, he's got 2-3 hits, but then you're going to sit there and go, wait, I forgot about that.
As soon as we
one.
pitch an artist, first thing I do is hit online and start listening. Oh, I remember that song. Oh,
Yeah.
we booked the Box last year, and I thought I kind of remember them. And then I
That's
started
what-
listening to them. It's like
You remember every song.
every song that they
That's what the
played.
people.
But yeah, Tom Cochrane's going to be an amazing. Our first few weeks
Yeah.
are very strong and a great diversity in them. So it's going to be just
Yeah.
super.
Real
with them.
Statics is a
Yeah.
Jason McCoy country.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's huge.
Philosopher Kings.
Philosopher
Yeah.
Kings.
They're
They-
back
they've been,
and
yeah,
they're
they were here
big.
before, yeah.
Yep.
I know my wife Judy is very. She's already booked in Jesse Cook. We're going to be there for that one for
Oh,
sure.
Yeah.
good,
And
yeah.
what's
The Kents from Lindsay.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about the Kents.
first one's to retweet Jay Amer when he
I got a retweet on
yeah,
the
They,
Twitter.
yeah.
they,
from
they're
the
very,
Kent.
very active on Twitter.
Very much so. They're a great local band, and we've actually got an opening act with them that night. But no, it's just going to be
And the
just
Peterborough
super.
Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah, that was one that we
that's
talked
an
about.
outdoor thing that they. I was talking to somebody from the
Yeah.
symphony the other day, and he said that the last time they played outdoors was probably 20 years ago at Music
Yeah.
Fest, or whatever it was called
Is
then.
that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that was one that was kind of pitched, and it was like, okay. And we do have an entertainment committee that talks about all of these, and they pitched it with, okay. And then Tracy, I think, went to see them at Showplace and was just blown away.
Well, again, we're a small city with
Yeah.
we have our own
Yeah.
symphony
I like the
orchestra.
local
It's
talent.
great.
I always go to the
Yeah.
ones with the John Denver music with Danny Bronson leading
Yeah.
people and all that stuff. I enjoy
yeah,
those.
and and you know, we'd like to do more of that. It's ever evolving as we
it's
start
like
to look at
variety,
things.
right?
Yeah.
Well, there's one, I think there's a typo here. It says Elton Ron.
No,
I laughed at that.
it's a
That's
little
Paul
bit.
Rellinger's influence. I swear to God. Tell me that
Strange
Pirelli.
name.
Elton
He may
John
have had
for
something to do
free?
with it.
No.
Paul Rellinger's a huge Elton John fan.
Yeah,
I saw that and I thought of him.
This guy's one of the best. I mean, I don't think a tribute artist. That and the Journey. Tracy again. She'll drive around to listen to these bands. She saw the Journey tribute in Oshawa a few weeks ago, and she said, if you close your eyes.
Well, Jay will be there for that one then.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A440. I don't know if anybody's familiar with them. They're an a cappella group. They played in Burlington last year at the Sound of Music Festival, and they were actually I forwarded their. Just an amazing group. So I mean, everybody kind of just start Googling these and listening to some of them because they're amazing.
Well,
so exciting.
It really is. It's exciting. When I think back, though, you talk about the different genres. When I was a kid, I'd go. You know, the military band would come in. You'd just go down there on a Wednesday or Saturday on your bike and hear all different kinds of music. The one thing I have to ask you, and I should have asked ahead of time, the boats and the lights.
No, they're not coming back.
I just had to ask.
I never understood that. That was one thing that mystified. I go, why are people looking at these boats that go
well,
at
it
the
was
same
the Festival of
Everybody
Lights.
looks
but-
at them once.
Yeah, it was the
I
Festival of
know.
Lights, but it was all about the music. But what was interesting, and I used to love it when the concert would be on, and then a line of boats would go out and just drive around, have a big one with a big red light, and then though they got pretty creative, and it was actually
did.
choreographed.
Oh, yeah.
Lights changed.
But you had donated boats, and that was
Yeah.
adding a whole new dimension.
So Tracy was one of those boat drivers
Was she?
for
Oh,
Fred
jeez.
when they
Oh,
first
yeah.
started. Yeah, that was her first job there. I had some of the media going last year for our 30th, and I kind of started teasing that you never know what might show up on opening night. But needless to say, the one thing that is, fireworks July 1st.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a busy day at the park because the multicultural day after the parade. It's going to be a long day. It's our opening night. It's Kim Mitchell. It's a big concert. It's the 150th, and we've got a bigger than ever fireworks display.
And Canada Day, yeah.
So it's going to be a long day, but if people are coming down, please come down for Multicultural Day. Plan to stay.
Plan to stay.
Because there'll be a lot of people planting their seats early.
What for people going to the show? It's open seating, but you
Yep.
can actually get some enhanced seating. How does that
Enhanced
work?
seating. That's a nice way to put it, actually.
Like a chair. Yeah.
As you-
Don't bring
as-
yourself.
A chair, yeah, a supplied chair, yeah.
As we talked about, the concerts are brought to you by the sponsors. That's who pays the freight. So part of their sponsorship package is VIP seating. They get a number of tickets for each show. Most sponsors give their tickets away. Employees, customers, general public. We have sponsors that come down every night, and they'll walk through the crowd. Hey, would you like a couple of tickets? Like a best seat in the house, and send people. So that's what those seats are.
Inside the fence.
Inside the fence
Yes.
seats, which I'm going to tell you something, and I'll get in trouble for this. It's not the best sound in the
No,
house.
I never wanted. At the Examiner, we were a sponsor,
Yeah.
and I never used those seats
Yep.
I did,
because.
because you could get on stage and dance with the guys.
Yeah.
Well, yes, yeah.
I never really felt it's hard to do that.
But they're aware of Lois doing that now, so we keep a pretty close eye. But
You'll
so
be
it's those
dragged off
people.
the stage. You'll be a Rolling
I got to
Stones
dump a
thing.
bucket over Royal Wood's drummer one night when he asked for volunteers in the audience. Invited.
Invited, okay,
Invited,
invited.
okay.
Yeah, so and there are some ticket packages that people can buy very cheap. That is like a Fest Friends, where you get tickets to a number of different
Right.
shows that you select. For some people, they'll call from all over North America and say, I have to see that show and I want a seat for it, and they'll buy a Fest Friends package to make sure they do.
Yeah, and just what you're saying, you have those seats, but every seat's a great seat. Up on the hill by the art gallery. I mean, you could sit anywhere.
Jay, there's some shows that aren't my genre, but I'll do my bit, and a couple of songs in, I'll head out, and I'll be walking through the parking lot, heading to my car, and there'll be people sitting in the parking lot in the middle of it, and I'll say, it sounds the same here as it does way up there, and when it's over,
I'm gone.
we're gone.
All right.
All right, and they can sit there just as happy as clam, sitting there enjoying it.
Yeah,
So-
and the other option I've noticed over the years, a lot more boaters, many people have boats there,
Yeah.
they use sort of as summer
Yep.
cottages, but boats come in and plan,
Yep.
and the docks fill up, and people actually go out on the water to listen to the shows.
Well, and this year, Don Jackson, it does have some more moorings coming in.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting. I was talking to my wife, Karen, who works at Trent Severn, and she was saying this Trent Severn Boater Info Twitter account, they're going to actually tweet boater info, traffic, but also
tonight.
don't forget,
This is on
if you're coming in a little late
Yeah.
tonight, the Music Fest is on.
Well, I'm glad you got that in, because it was on the list of things to ask Chad that Karen put together. So
Yeah.
you covered that one off.
But
good.
things like that, the number of people, that'll just kind of happen in that way from
Yeah.
the marina. And we have a section of seats
Yeah.
for the boaters to sit at.
Oh, is there? Oh, okay.
That Don puts out, and he tells them all about it. So, yeah,
It's something, I'll put a little plug in, if you, rather than sitting in the parking lot so you can get out early, you can ride your bike down there.
Right.
That's true.
And,
Lots of people
from
do.
all over
Yep.
central Peterborough, it's a very easy trip.
Well, I always make a point when I drive down, I'll go all the way up to Park Hill and all the way down George, just to see, and the number of people walking with lawn chairs at, London Street, heading down to the park, and on a nice night,
So it's an exercise
it's a
program.
great, it's a
On a
great,
whim,
Exactly.
we went to 5440,
That was a great
and
show.
I led the way. And I know that Maureen and her sister weren't happy with the route I took, but we made it. But it was like you say, we said, hey, we could hear the music from our house. You just hop on a bike, head down,
Yep.
park the bikes there, and
Oh, yeah.
enjoy it for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It really is a lot of fun, and you can get there many, many ways.
oh yeah, it's super for that.
Now tell us about the board. You're the chair of the board. You've
I
been on
am.
the board for a while. Tell us how that works, a few people might be on it, and
Yep.
how you recruit people, and what the duties are.
So it's a board that has evolved over a number of years. Jamie Tompkins was chair, and I gave him a lot of credit because he came in at a time when there was a lot of new staff.
We had him on the show.
Yeah, and they got a lot of the operational stuff out of the way. The GM and the staff operate the events, and this, we became a governance board and really a looking ahead and a sustainable board. So there's myself, Brenda O'Brien from Checks is the co-chair. So I've got this season and next. I understood it was a 2-year term. Apparently, as soon as I was in, it was a 3-year
You were
term.
sentenced to an extra year.
Well, apparently it's always been that way, and I just didn't read the bylaws.
That happens
Yes.
a lot on boards.
Yeah. So Brenda's taking over from me. We've had a couple of new members. Sean Pierce from Moving Media has just started with us. Shelby Parker from the Chamber has just started with us. So people that have really got a good interest, marketing background, and obviously from the Chamber, kind of that finger on the pulse down there.
And a media background.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And we've got Peter Lawless has been on the board for a number of years. Peter Blodgett from Darling is on the board and is a great resource, for us. So a good group. It's a lot of word of mouth. We never really have a shortage for recruitment. There's always people that have got an interest or have planted a seed. Paul Rellinger was one of those, and he had just retired on I think a Friday, and I called him on Monday.
Wasn't he up on a roof recently? Or?
Yeah, he picked a
Well,
he needs to do
survived.
that in August, I
He
think.
did survive.
What a weekend.
Yeah, what a terrible weekend to be up there, but kudos to him.
yes.
So, and he's a great resource because he does all our writing.
Right.
So with his, new role with us, he does all the press releases, all of the artist bios and stuff. What an amazing talent
And
to have with him.
harass us to make sure that we print them.
Yes, and that's great for that because we understand he has an in.
Yeah,
So
remember me, I worked there for 30 years.
Yeah,
You got to help
you
me
got to
out.
print this here. I'm going to be off the board. So, so it's a good group.
So that's an operational position on a board.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. It very much is. Yeah. And then we have an entertainment committee that looks
Hands-on,
that
yeah.
meets to discuss potentials, and they just sit around a table and throw them out.
Well, I think I sat with Tracy Randall at one of the events Cogeco was at over the winter, and she has a pretty interesting job. You're mentioning she actually gets to scout out these groups.
Yeah.
And that's part, and she's forced to go out to clubs and pubs and listen to these
Yeah, what a rough
bands.
life, eh? And gets paid for it, apparently. Yeah. No, she does, and she's got a great background in event management,
Yeah.
so she also sees that bigger picture. I'm not speaking out of turn. We're waiting, with the city to look at a redevelopment of the waterfront. We all know that trail, everything's being redone down there, and the rumor for a number of years has been, at some point there'll be a new stage because. We do have limitations. There are some acts that we can't have on that stage, and it's
it's just too small.
Yeah. And the plans have been talked about for a number of years, and the plans are to move the stage and push it back a little bit forward. And it's great in that it'll really allow us to. I think we figured out another several thousand people
Right.
can fit in the park. So there'll be some great potential moving ahead.
God, it seems like just yesterday that was the new stage, so.
That predates me.
That was a while back.
was
Yeah,
a while back, wasn't it?
Mid
That's
to
only-
late 80s.
Is it? Okay, so it's...
I think
Is it
John Hobbs
30
was
years?
an
Oh, yeah, the
architect who
architect.
designed it.
Yes.
He was a local guy.
But you know what? I think it's like so much in Peterborough. You look at, the Memorial Center, and it's an old building, but boy, the staff just keep it churning. That stage every year, the staff of works, they get there's graffiti on it right now that'll be getting cleaned off.
Right.
They clean that sail every year and put it back up,
Yeah.
and you walk in, it's meticulous. So, that's why it's still there. If they were at all lacking in their ability or their interest in doing it, it would have fallen down years ago. So
Yeah, no,
good
they've
on them. Yeah.
They've kept that up.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful spot.
Yeah, I think I've asked you this before, Dave. I'm going to ask you again. Who is your dream act? Who would you want to get in before your term is up?
Who would I want to get in before? Well, there's the big ones. You'd love to see a Brian Adams. And
Yeah,
I'm,
would be
I'm
fun.
thinking Canadian. I think that would
Well,
be
you got
awesome.
Kiefer Sutherland last
We got
year.
Kiefer Sutherland, and what a great
That was
night
neat.
that was.
That
was.
And even got a shout out from him on
The morning show.
the Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kelly
so,
and Michael.
I think him, you can dream huge. You'd love to see like an Elton John or somebody like that. And we know there's ties to the area for
right.
him. And
Yeah.
would someone ever look to do that? I don't know. We've got an opening on August 2nd that's still
Could be a
at CB.
surprise group.
Yeah.
Neil Young.
I knew that was coming.
Well, it's got to be an Ontario artist for that one, right? Because it's
Well, there you go.
it's an
Call and
Ontario
tell them that. Look,
150.
we're in a bind.
Yeah. Hey, we need this.
We need an Ontario guy.
Hey,
go.
Justin Bieber. There's lots of Ontario actors out there.
Oh.
Hey, you know what? He's a good musician.
Well, hey, the Carly Rae Jepsen show was pretty legendary. Oh, God.
Hey, was yeah.
right.
Tegan and Sarah was
That was
one of the
wild.
amazing. That crowd was
Oh.
probably the best crowd I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Was it bigger than Gordon Lightfoot? That was.
It's hard because we look at the aerial photos we've
Yeah.
got kind of the big
Yeah.
shows. When Lightfoot performed, the trees were tiny
Right.
and people were pushed. I think there was
Okay.
probably more people for it just because the park would allow it.
Right.
But they're pushed to the water on both sides.
Yeah.
And I think it's still a little bit bigger. But Carly Rae was huge. Serena last year was
That was
a
awesome.
big crowd.
That was a great
Yeah.
night.
And and speaking of Serena Ryder, there's so much local talent. It probably wouldn't be too hard to find a local group that's
Yep.
got some notoriety.
Well, and one of
Another-
the ones we were talking about was the Sheepdogs because
Oh,
Jamie
yeah.
Boskill.
Yeah, Jamie
And so we
Oh,
were
is, he,
kind of.
is he part of that group?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I didn't
So,
know
he's someone that grew up, as we put it yesterday, grew up on that
Bailey
stage.
Burke,
yeah.
He did
And
a
I
number of times in this studio.
Yeah.
Did I see the Sheepdogs there 2 summers ago, 3 summers ago?
At least 3.
Yeah.
3?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a great group. So I
Yeah,
think
that's a high
there's so much we
energy.
could bring
Oh,
through,
good.
but some of them would be scary. You bring Brian Adams to town, it would be scary to deal with that part.
Well, that's the thing, and I remember talking way back about the holy grail of Neil Young, and he was almost too big to bring in because if he has a concert, there's 50,000 people that will show
Yeah.
up.
I just saw Brian Adams at the Memorial Center. It was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in
So-
smaller venues, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's, yeah.
But when it's free, it tends to get a little bit bigger.
He does a good
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
I
Yeah.
kind of think there's a bit of a challenge because there is a bit with the changes in how music people make money. A lot more acts are going on the road, new acts, old acts. There's a lot of heritage
Yep.
concerts, and I go to a lot of them. Do you see in trying
Heritage concert. I love
That's-
that.
you get them before they move on?
Johnny McDonald.
That's this year. It's the summer. Steve Miller and Peter Frampton again.
Yeah,
so,
see?
but I wanted to ask about these folks are out, making a living,
Mm-hmm.
making some money while they can, and you're offering, and you do pay these folks.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Is there more competition now for some of these folks who might be out on their own sort of money-making tours?
Well, there is, and
Yeah.
in the last, let's just say 5 years, you look at the festivals, with Boots and Hearts, Way Home,
Yeah.
Havrock, all great events, but they all have radius clauses. And
Oh, yeah, if you show up.
so now an artist is going to perform at a Way Home. Well, just economy of scale.
And what's the radius? Is it 100 kilometers?
Sometimes it's
or something?
100, sometimes it's 150 kilometers, and it's radius. So,
Yeah, so it's a big space, yeah.
It's a big space, so that can limit us. Hey, I'm playing here, so I can't play there. And some of it is if someone knows I'm going to Peterborough on a date in August for free, they're not going to pay to see them
Right.
here.
Right.
Which I don't know is always the case. So it really is unfortunate. There's just no way out of that. So we do get a bit of a challenge that way. We've had acts, penciled in that have said, actually I'm going here instead. But, I will say this, so many of them love our event. Kim Mitchell was one. We actually had him booked the year he had his heart attack.
Oh, right.
But he says, I won't forget. And and there he is. Here's your candidate. So a lot of them will say, you know what, I'm not going to be able to this year because of this, but next year, please. And they're good to their word.
Yes, I
So
know
it's phenomenal that
people
way.
have come back and stood on the stage and said, I just can't believe I'm being paid to play.
Kiefer Sutherland was
gorgeous.
beside himself. This is the
Yeah.
biggest crowd I've ever played for, and you think, in the scope of it, that's a pretty big announcement for him to make.
Yeah, and that was, we happened to be, we were going out for dinner across the road, walked by, wandered in the park, and stuck around, and were really impressed with the performance.
It was
he put
neat.
on.
That was the one jaw dropper at our announcement last year. Was when you got announced, it was like, what?
Yeah.
Really? Because for most, they didn't have a clue he
That he
played.
did that, yes.
Yeah.
So it was great.
No, that's great. Yeah, and I guess you like to bring people back, but not necessarily every year. You kind of cycle it a bit. Or?
Yeah, obviously we troll social media to see what the feedback is to yesterday.
Yeah.
And the only negative comment I've seen, I can't believe Hotel California's not coming back. I've seen them for the last 3 years running.
I think Canada Day last time. It's nice
But I'll
having
tell
Canada.
you, we struggled over that. We thought, people
You
love
know
this.
how popular they
That
are?
park gets packed. I mean, the
Yeah.
Journey show, probably Elton Ron, the
Yeah.
park gets packed.
Yeah.
Because people love it. They can, they can tap to the music. They know the words, and
And it's free.
and it's free. Yeah, and if you don't like it, I'll refund your money.
Hey, we just have a couple of minutes left, and I've got a couple of things I want to just talk about the show before we go off. But I was just reminded, 3 weeks ago I did go to a heritage show in Lindsay. Mickey Gilly
Right.
took my father-in-law.
Jeez.
And it was a great show.
Yep.
And he was the guy for Urban Cowboy, and absolutely amazing. And I did tell viewers in Lindsay that I'd be there. They're the most polite people.
Oh, aren't they great?
No one came up to me and mentioned they watched the show. They didn't.
Well, they didn't want to bother you,
wanna
Jay.
bother you,
That's
you were
what
there
it
They
with
watch
your
TMZ. They know
father-in-law.
how it goes.
I was standing everywhere. Someone, come on,
Trying.
tell me you're a viewer. No, they're just so polite. But David, I want to talk a bit about the show. This is our second last show, and we're hoping you might let us back next year, because we have heard people do watch the show. Are we going to be coming back on the
I don't
air?
want to give too much away, but it is an election year next year, but not till June.
That's one election. then
That's
there's
one
another
election,
one.
then there's another one,
October.
and then another one. So, I think maybe we'll throw it to the viewers, and if they want to open it to Twitter
well,
and
Twitter it.
Facebook and let us know
Okay.
what they think and what they'd like to see. No, I think people forget shows like this provide an outlet for the community. And that's about what the channel is here to do. And we take that to heart. And the number of people that come in here, and I'm looking at 3 camera people that are all volunteers.
Yep.
The crew in the control room are volunteers. That's what it's for.
Well, we appreciate being here, David. We're out of time.
Thank
And
you.
we don't sing.
And we don't sing.
No,
Well,
I
some of us
appreciate
do.
that.
Try. But thanks for joining us, and thank you for being with
Thank
us. Viewer of the week, another family member, my wife's family, Steve Burnsy. He watches the show. He drives for Coach Canada. I discovered another viewer. I got to find some who aren't family
Guys are
members.
ready.
Join us next time.
Someone in Lindsay, perhaps.